Took a long time. There it goes.
There it is. There we are. There we are. Good afternoon, good evening to those tuning in right now. Welcome to another layer, another broadcast of the recap. Happy Monday to everyone that's tuning in with us right now. I invite you right now to tune in and also like, comment, and share. You're probably watching, you're like, Kev, you say this all the time. You say like, you say comment, you say share. We do these things, but why do you keep saying it? And the reason why I keep saying it is because we are currently in our Get Serious Challenge, our 90-day
Yeah.
challenge. We started in the beginning of October. And during this challenge, we are making sure that we're being intentional about sowing our time, our talent, and our treasure. And there may be someone tuning in right now that may say, I don't know how to sow my time or my talent or my treasure. So a part of sowing that and being God's blessing is by liking, commenting, or sharing this broadcast right now. Or you may be geographically locked out and you want to be a part of the Get Serious Challenge. And you want to do that online. So I am challenging you to make sure that you share every broadcast that's going on because that is being getting serious too, right, Ryan?
Absolutely. We because all of us are used to social media now at this point,
Mm-hmm.
we forget how much of an impact it can make.
Yes.
Um, by clicking your share button, that opens up everyone on your friends list to be introduced to Bethany, and then not only us as a church, but the Word of God and how good God has been and can
Mm-hmm.
be in their life. So, we're not saying that lightly, for the analytics or to try to get
Yeah.
new followers. It really is because we know that by clicking your share button, it really can make an impact on someone's life.
Yeah.
You never know who can be blessed by it.
Absolutely. And we say this every week. You never know what type of Monday someone is having.
Yes.
So whether they're tuning in right now or going to tune in later, it's always a blessing to be a blessing to someone else. So we encourage you to please like, comment, and share. And if it is your first time tuning in, we want to make sure that we shout you out. As we always say,
Yeah.
we like to make it seem like this is our virtual living room. When someone comes over to your house, you always want to show that hospitality. So we want to shout you out. We want to send all the love that we can to you right now virtually, but we need you to indicate that you're tuning in. So please make sure that you put the VIP in the comments so we can shout you out and let you know how much we love you and show you a whole bunch of Bethany love virtually right now. Oh,
Absolutely.
can we do the thing? Is it going to do it? It did it! Yay! I'm just so excited about
I
that.
think it's my
Is it?
yeah. I think it's because of the green screen.
Yes, it is because the green screen. But we're telling you guys to like, comment, and share. And it may be your first time tuning in. And you may be asking, why is Kevin and Maya here on a Monday at 5:30? And basically, what we like to do is we like to take this time to just recap everything that we have going on at Bethany Church, whether it's our in-person services, encounter services, our word impact, or things that's happening online. We like to just recap everything that's happening to make you feel like you are a part of everything that's happening. So, first, we just want to say thank you for tuning in. And then,
Yes.
secondly, we want you to join the conversation. So, we are just coming off of an incredible service, our anniversary service yesterday, our
Yeah.
birthday service yesterday. And I want to hear from you guys. So, we encourage you guys to drop in the comments how did you enjoy service yesterday? Bishop is still in this filter series where he is just preparing us for this next chapter in our lives in this new season that we're about to step into at the end of this year. We are just going in there boldly and
Yeah.
confident with this filter series. So we want to hear from you. We're going to talk about it, but we want you to join in the conversation. As Maya loves to say all the time, you are our third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh,
Mhm.
eighth co-host. So please in the comments let me know how you enjoyed service yesterday, how the word blessed you, how the worship blessed you, and how Bethany has just been a blessing to you as we are celebrating our 56th year
Can you
of
believe it?
just being a
Years.
church body and church family, right, Maya?
Yeah. No, it's been a wonderful thing. I've started going to Bethany when I was 5, so I've been a small part of the 56 years. But it was an amazing experience being able to celebrate together, and then of course we had the party afterward, which was great, to be
The
able
party was
to.
a lot of fun.
It was, although the DJ, was a little iffy.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything. The
I was
food
the
was
DJ.
excellent, the activities were excellent. Um, the DJ was there. I don't know if the DJ knew what the vibe
See,
was. The transitions weren't there, so thank God we have
what
Minister.
happened
Um,
what happened was I was trying to put a playlist together, and so then while I was putting the playlist together, I would accidentally click on
yeah.
something, and then it would just play that
Mm.
song. I was like, "Oops, that's not what I was
Yeah, I
trying to
wasn't gonna
do."
let the folks know who the DJ was, but since you
Look,
are revealing
I'm
it
guilty.
was. But we love you for it though. It was a great
I tried
laugh.
my best.
It was a great laugh. Oh, happy day.
Uh, I don't remember putting that on there,
Oh
but it's
gosh. So it was between you and Justice. I don't know who to blame, but no, but it was such an
yeah,
incredible time. Seeing people after service, the kids getting their face painting, doing harvest festival
mhm,
games. Just a beautiful
yeah,
way to just celebrate our anniversary of being a
yeah.
church family and fellowshipping.
And I think, going back to the Get Serious challenge, part of
Hmm.
that is in how we relate to each other, right?
Yeah.
We say this that we are the church, we are the body of Christ. So we are what represents the church. So being able to have that time to connect with each other and just have a fun
Hmm.
time, is truly special.
Yeah. And as I said, the 90-day challenge is a 90-day challenge, and we started in October. And it's never too late to join. So
Nope.
even if you are not doing 90 days, do 45 days, do 30, start now or start whenever
Mhm.
you want to start. But we want you to get serious because we have just been experiencing just an abundance of people just coming and asking about different ministries. I'll just speak for our ministry in general, just being at the
Yeah.
tables. People I've just been coming up with so many great questions about what do we do on our ministry. And prior to me being active in ministries, I allow my pride to get in the way of me
Mm,
knowing about what ministries are out there. As Bishop always says, there is a place for everyone there. And I felt like there wasn't a place for me until I actually took that step of faith and got out there and found a ministry that, I felt comfortable in. I
mm,
feel like I have a family, well, which I do, have a family that lifts me up spiritually, and also consoles me in different times in my life. And I'm also experiencing God as well. So I encourage you, if you have not started this challenge with us, please do. Just take 2 minutes out of after service just to walk down the hallway and see it. I'm sure you're going to be greeted with a smile. You're going to be greeted with some love and get to know the different ministries because there is a place for you. I'm not just saying it just because now I'm in ministry. You're like, oh, Kevin, you just
mhm.
say no. I promise you, there is a place for you in that house, and it's just going to help you
Absolutely.
feel so much better and with your walk in Christ, because it's not an easy walk at times, and
Right.
you always do need think like-minded people to help you get through those tough times. So we encourage you to get serious with us, right, Mai?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So with the Get Serious, we have the challenge happening. We just celebrated our anniversary, but something else that we want you guys to get excited for is our first worship night of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Oh my
Me
gosh, I am just so excited about this. If
me
you watch
too.
the recap all the time, you know that I love a good worship moment. I love a great moment just to worship a song. I just love it. And this is just everything that I've been asking for. So I want to say thank you to our leadership, especially our Pastor Bush, who will be leading this. But we want you guys to come on out for a night of worship and Thanksgiving. That's going to happen Friday, November 3rd at 7 p.m. Now, limited space, right? So we need you guys to claim your free ticket. Yes, it is free, but you do need to claim your ticket. So registration is required. So you go on our website to www.gotobethany.com/events, or right now you can get the QR code that is on the screen. Or if you're interested, when we're in service, whether it's Word Impact or our encounter service, to ask anyone, any representative about the worship night, how to claim your free ticket. Because I promise you, if you have been enjoying worship in service, whether it's our Word Impact or our encounter service, you are in for a treat this night. I already know.
Yeah.
I'm debating if I'm going to be wearing glasses or contacts, because I know that the tears will be flowing and God will be present. Right, Maya?
No, absolutely. This is something that we wanted to do for a long, long, long time. Okay. Um, just to set the atmosphere and to be in worship with each other. And, these past few years have been hard. Let's be honest. So we have a lot to be thankful for. I think this might be our first Thanksgiving back since the pandemic. I don't remember if we were in church in person during this time last year, but
Yeah.
I don't remember. But we have so much to be thankful for, and so the night of worship is really just a time for us to come together and share in that thankfulness of gratitude that we have toward God. But another reason why we're excited to do this is because we've been wanting to produce almost like a live worship video that we can share out there, so that other
Mercy.
people can be blessed by it as well. So it will be a live recording that will be aired worldwide later in the month. But again, this is just an opportunity to come together.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and as we are learning in this filter series, how important our worship is when it
Hmm.
comes to defeating those filters that we have adopted over the years with our experiences. As Bishop took that time in the beginning of the month to really get our mindset really focused on how intentional our worship should be, because our body language speaks to God as well, as we've been
Yeah,
talking about this whole month. So if you're in a moment where God is present and you are not showing, whether it's screaming, whether
something.
you're something, you're not showing no sign, what do you think that says to God? So Bishop has been teaching us about those moments. When is those moments where God is present, which when two or three gather together, he is present. So in
Yeah,
those moments of worship, that is the time to show that thankfulness, that thanksgiving. So I'm excited about this because, as I say, I am a worship. I love worship music, but also throughout the series, I have been learning how intentional I need to be with my worship. So I
yes,
hope that this night, as well as this series, is encouraging people to really do that assessment of, how am I responding to God being present in my life? As I shared yesterday on Engage, any moment that there is with worship, you should always say to yourself, how am I going to respond? How am I going
hmm,
to respond to God waking me up this morning? How am I going to respond to Him carrying me through a week? How am I going to respond to Him getting me home safely? Just the
yeah,
small things that you consider small, but they are very big, protecting you from danger seen and unseen. So whenever those moments of worship happen, always ask yourself, how am I going to respond?
absolutely. And I think sometimes like we look for God to have big action,
Mm-hmm.
be expressive in his body language. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So we need to be able to do that as well,
Mm-hmm.
as a show of gratitude for what he's done in our lives. And I don't think
Yes.
we think about that often
Mm-mm.
because we're so used to being on the receiving end. But we spoke
Yes.
about before about how it's a relationship that we have with him. And so just as
Yes.
much love as he likes to give us, we need to be able to do that in return.
Yeah, absolutely. So whatever, because we tend to always, like you said, I think we always love being on the receiving end, and we always expect these big things from God, but we don't, give that same, as us millennials says, we don't reciprocate that energy. We don't give that same
Yeah.
energy. So we need to give that same energy, right, Mai?
Mhm, mhm, absolutely. And it says a
So I want
lot.
to it does say a lot. It
Yeah.
says a lot about, as we are learning about our filters and our body language. It does say a lot about, I'm expecting God to do this major thing in my life, but I just can't give, as Bishop said, we can't be just doing them 30-second prayers, right? Prayer is actually a conversation that you're having throughout the day. So you're having
Right.
your prayer in the morning, but throughout your day, you should be just saying to God little things. Thank you for that. Thank you for this. Or, just having a conversation just as much as you have a conversation with your best friend, your companion, your spouse, whoever it may be. Do that. Have that same energy for God, right?
Right. Right.
So I want to make sure before we go too deep into the conversation, I do want to shout out everyone that's tuning in right now. Please drop in
Woo!
the comments. Mylita, shout out to Mylita, excuse me, tuning in. Keisha, Karen, Patrice. I think I saw
Into
Andrew tuning in. Welcome. I'm so happy to see you guys in the comments. Please make sure that you add some input on your thoughts on this filter series of on service yesterday. And just where you are right now, mentally and emotionally, because Bishop continued in this filter series where he uses Naomi's story to illustrate the two types of filters that we have,
it.
mental and emotional. So, Maya,
Mm.
before we get into anything, why do you think it's so important to really identify that there's these two filters, mental and emotional, especially for us Christians?
Yeah. I think because they make up so much of who we are,
Yeah.
you know. We and not always for the best, we act on our emotions,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then if we're trying to use wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when we take it to our mental.
Yeah.
So there's so much that are tied into in our being based on those two aspects, and they can, I don't know, they can really shift things, for lack of better words,
Mm-hmm.
if
Absolutely.
you're not careful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that's go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I agree. I feel like our emotions and our thoughts and you mentally, I feel like they dominate a lot of things in our life.
Yeah.
They I don't want to say dictate, but they do direct us in different areas. So if my
Mhm.
thought process is not what it should be, if I'm
Mhm.
thinking the wrong thoughts, if I'm not thinking clearly, if I'm going based off my thinking with my emotions, I'm not going to move correctly.
Right.
So I love that, like Bishop said, as when he started the filter series, he put the sunglasses on and he's showing you how the perspective can be shifted. As he said yesterday, it may be sunny out and then you put your sunglasses on. It's still sunny out, but it changes your perspective of what's happening in that moment. And that's what I feel like our thoughts as well as our emotions do when it comes to our interactions with people, when it comes to our reactions to situations, when it comes to us being in certain seasons in our life. So it's these two types of filters, we're all controlled by them, right? Are we good?
Absolutely. You disappeared for a second.
I disappeared. Jesus,
You're back though.
what is
Thank you.
happening?
But it's so true. And if you think about it, they're so intertwined as well.
Yeah.
Because whatever filters you have in your emotions can create filters in your mindset and vice versa, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's even learning how to navigate between the two
Yeah.
in order to have a clear vision.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I want to shout out, hey Kifi, see you in the comments. So mental filters affect the way that we think, and emotional filters affect the way that we respond. Filters, some of our filters may have been developed from our households when we were young and we just carried them over into our adulthood. Filters can be
Wow.
created based on the fear that one may have as well. So
Mhm.
why I also feel like these mental and emotional filters is very important to speak about is because during this time, we are in the last months of the year. And it's the holiday times, right?
Yes.
But it's also the time when it gets darker earlier. It's colder. It makes you want to be more isolated, more inside, more.
Mhm.
And it also can be a dark time for individuals. And I
Yes.
know mental health is very important during this time. So I just want to talk about that right now when it comes to dealing with that mental health in these next couple months, and why it's so important to really identify these filters and how we can encourage someone during this time, right?
Yeah, these months, for whatever reason, I feel like tend to be some of the most exciting months, but it can also
Mhm.
be some of the most challenging for some as well.
Yeah.
Um, because of the experiences and the filters
Mhm.
that are built during this time. And,
Yeah.
like you said, isolation and being lonely or sad, or the loss of a loved one starting to kick up because that person isn't here anymore and during the
Yeah.
holidays. Um, it's so important, even just taking it back to, mental health, that let me back up. When it comes to filters, I think a part of why we're going through this is that we can take a step back
Mhm.
and kind of reevaluate where maybe
Mhm.
some of our issues might be. So
Yeah.
that same thinking, I think, can apply here. Okay, we know that these months are coming, and I
Yeah.
know that I tend to have a hard time during these months. What
Yeah.
can I do to kind of safeguard, so that I can, experience things a little differently than what I've done in the past?
Yeah.
Um, so, it's a challenge,
Mhm.
all the way through. But when thinking of filters, I think the beauty in it is that gaining this understanding allows us to have more power in what we
Mm.
do going forward, so we can, have a better outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to piggyback off on all that. Like Bishop said, some of these filters can be developed from our households that we were raised in.
Mhm.
And the holiday times may be a trigger for those households that we were raised in. You may have not had a positive
Yeah.
holiday or experience with holidays in your past, which creates this filter of every time this time comes around, it's just those memories, those
Mhm.
memories of your family, of your parents, or stuff like that. And it's very important that we do bring it to light. I think that's the first step of the process. So, like you said,
Yes.
the beauty of really understanding that and really talking about these two types of filters, emotional and mental filters, is that we're first addressing it, because
Mhm.
you can't resolve, you can't come to a conclusion, you cannot properly heal if you don't
Mhm.
address it first. So, like
Absolutely.
Bishop said this Sunday, what? Why does it keep doing that?
Oh, no, that's weird.
First off, whoever needs to hear this, you
I
need to
hope
hear
you're
it, right?
listening.
But as I was saying, like Bishop said this Sunday, you gotta first address it. You gotta say that you have this filter. I feel like Bishop said, filters can be created based on the fear that one has. So someone may be fearful of actually addressing it, or just saying, I do have this filter. And it's okay. We all have it.
Yep.
Everyone that's listening right now, everyone that sat in that
We
sanctuary
all got
has
something.
a filter, whether you
Yep.
know it or not. So the first step is first addressing it. So you may be
Mhm.
saying to yourself, well, how I know that I get emotional during this time. I know that mental health is a real thing during this time for me. I don't know how to be properly healed from this. The first step is admitting it.
Yep.
And the second
Yep.
step is taking everything that we're learning each and every Sunday and applying it, watching
Mhm.
it back, reiterating on the things, meditating on the word, and really taking the driver's seat of trying to be healed from these filters, because we're talking like, even though Bishop used the illustration of sunglasses, it's not as easy as taking sunglasses off
No.
with these filters with some things. Some
Nope.
some filters that people have are deep rooted in our
Absolutely.
belief systems, as we talked about last week. They're deep rooted in the way that we were raised. These filters may have been taught to us from our parents, and we don't see no wrong in it because we always think our parents taught us everything that we need to know, but you never
Yeah,
know that they may have found that out from generational
absolutely.
curses that they had in their
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, yep. And
So
I
it's
think,
not easy.
sorry, go ahead,
Go ahead,
finish.
no, go ahead, you're good.
I was gonna say, I think that with filters, a component of that is feeling like there is a lack of control. Like,
Hmm.
these things happen to me. I have this because this happened to me, or they did this to
Right.
me, or this happened down there 3 generations ago. This is why,
Yeah.
because this happened to me. But we don't keep in mind that we have a role in it too.
Yeah.
Not negating the fact that, yeah, this is a bad experience that happened, but I'm going to refuse to let it continue to happen. And that's
Yes.
the power that comes with being able to, like you said earlier, Kev, to address your filters.
Hmm.
Because then you can start to unwind and, you know, take all the confusion
Hmm.
that came with the filter and
Hmm.
start making things a little bit more clear, or making
Amen.
it new, or adopting it, the filter of God that we're, saying He has for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So Bishop says that, there are some things that have happened to us that affects the way we react to positive things,
Mm-hmm.
right? And also filters create competition.
Well, all
And
right.
the Saints was quiet on that saying right there.
Hmm.
Because he says sometimes people can't even properly focus on church because you're so you have the mindset of being competitive to the person next to you that you can't even properly sit and actually
Well,
soak in everything that God is trying to teach you in that moment.
yep.
Right. So I think when it comes to this, I'm not going, let me think out. I know when it comes to this, it's not easy to take those filters off like their sunglasses. But like, as we said, you got to first address those things, and don't be afraid to address them. I, for myself, in the past, there have been times when, I was not properly healed from things because I was afraid of the unknown. I didn't know what was coming out of whatever, if I did address this, or if I did bring it to light. So I rather, because it's comfort, I rather not bring it to light. I rather just let it go on. But that's not being properly healed, and that's not being fair to
Healthy.
yourself or your relationship with God.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's so many, I feel like, okay, let's keep it plain. The enemy knows the calling that God has in your life. And
Hmm.
so he will try to do everything that he can to try to pull you away from that, by
Yeah.
making you not see clearly, by creating these
Hmm.
filters so that you can feel competitive with someone else, or feel judged by someone else. Therefore, you don't go to that church anymore, or, whatever it
Mhm.
might be for you, to try to block you from the purpose and
Mhm.
the blessing that God has for you.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have to due diligence to try to just stay focused
Yeah. And get
and
serious.
get serious.
No pun
um,
intended.
no pun intended. But we can't allow ourselves, and it's not easy, but we can't
Mhm.
allow ourselves to kind of be pulled off track. And I think that's where we can kind of reconvene in the power and the control that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Bishop said yesterday, that mental filter will allow you to think things that are not even happening here. So you'll be
Mhm,
thinking people are talking about you, or people look at.
mhm.
That's why you have to say you got to get rid of that mental filter, because it will have you thinking things in your head that's not even happening. So
Yep, not
it puts you in it gives you this attitude. It puts you in a position where you can't properly celebrate others or celebrate things in your life because you think so many
yeah.
negative things are happening around you or happening to you, that you can't be blessed, that you are not capable of reaping everything that God has for you.
Mhm,
Right.
absolutely. And one of the greatest commandments that we have is to love God and to love others. So
Mhm.
things like that make it more difficult to live up to that, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And so, you know, it's it's one of those things, again, it's not all because we are human and we aren't
Yeah.
perfect.
Right.
But if we can hold true to what our purpose is in that, loving God, loving others, you
Yeah.
know, I hope that it would start to become a little bit easier, especially if you can see your own faults and your own filters that you've been putting up and not being able to see yourself clearly.
Amen.
Because you can extend grace to others and to yourself.
Yeah, and I love that you said, let's be real, we are human. It's not going to happen overnight, but it can happen tonight. So, like we
Mhm.
said, we can't get rid of those filters overnight. So, we have to do our part. So, something that you can do, like we said, the first thing is addressing those things. And the second thing that you can do is being serious about sowing that time back to God, tithing that time back to God, your time, your talent, and your treasure. And that's what we want for you, because we want you to be properly healed from these filters. So again, as we mentioned earlier, we have our Get Serious challenge. So we want you to get serious with us, but not only get serious with us, but actually really sit back and listen to the word, listen to the different things that we have going on throughout the week. And then also being intentional about those moments when it comes to worship, when it comes to word, when it comes to service, and actually be serious about those things. So you may be asking, okay, Kev, I'm geographically locked out, or, I need some encouragement throughout the week. So there is a Get Serious support group that we have on Facebook created especially for you. So Maya, do you want to speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it really is just a great opportunity as we are in this challenge to be of support to each other. Sharing ways of how we can get serious in volunteering within the church, in community, or even around with the missions that we're around the world with the missions initiatives that we're trying to do here at Bethany.
Mhm.
So you can share ideas that way. You can share in your journey. What has your experience been like? How have you seen God moved in your life, in your giving, and being able to get serious with us in this way? So, like Kev said, the link is there for you to join. It's been great hearing some of the things that people have been saying. Someone mentioned that they had cancer a few
Mm.
years ago, and so now she's getting serious by volunteering at the cancer center and
Yeah.
giving to a community of people that she was once part of
Amen.
in her own
Amen.
cancer journey. So things like that, it's beautiful to see, how God is moving in all of
Hmm.
it, and how when coming together as a community like this,
Hmm.
it can really make a difference,
Amen.
in big ways.
Amen. Amen. Love to hear that. So please, we encourage you to, join that group and also share your testimony, because your testimony can be a blessing for someone else. So
Mhm.
again, we are excited for everything that we have going on, especially as we mentioned earlier, our worship night. So we want you to claim your ticket for the worship night and Thanksgiving, where you can go on the website. But also, we want you to join us for everything that we have going on online as well as in person. We have Word Impact happening this Wednesday. And of course, we have our encounter service on Sunday at 11. So please make sure that you join us, for whatever it may be. But we also encourage you that when you do come to service, especially Sunday service, take some time out to get to know the different ministries so you can find your place in the church home, where you can just grow and just actually feel God move in your life, especially with the people that's around you. Right, Mai?
Absolutely could not have said it better.
So it is always a pleasure, it's always an honor taking this time to really fellowship with you and really connect, and make sure we're just doing a checkup with you. So if you're tuning in later, we encourage you to join us every Monday at 5:30. But for all those that were in the comments, all those that like, that comment, that shared, we appreciate you, we thank you, and we love you. And it is our prayer that you have a blessed and safe week, and we look forward to seeing you online or in person for our services. Until next time, Bethany family, be blessed.